I never in a million years thought that this was a bass lure or it would work. The BB Cricket. That thing is tiny. Look at it compared to a Spro popping frog. I mean, just a tiny little bait. Now this was back before the Ned rig, before you saw these little tiny baits dominate bass fishing there for a while. So when I first saw this, I was like, I don't know what this is for. How does this work? When do you use this? Now this is a bait designed for punching, but I've actually caught fish on this bait just flipping it with a small weight, a little Texas rig around reeds after a cold front. But mainly this bait is designed for punching. So I'm going to rig it up for you and I'll show you how this bait works. So here we go. Little BB Cricket. I think it's maybe 3¼ inches long or something. But here's a 4/0 heavy wire flipping hook. And you're going to go down a couple of the rings there. Slide it up on there. And if you see, this wasn't my first take, so I've had to pull it off here a couple of times. But it fits that 4/0 flipping hook, which is a pretty standard size hook. It fits that perfectly. Now, when this bait was first explained to me, basically, it's something to guard the hook. You don't want to give those fish a big creature bait. You don't want to flip something in there that might kind of spook them out of there. You want to give them the most finesse approach possible. So this is it, and you just need something to guard your hook. Enough plastic that your hook's not going to be coming out of there all day, getting hung up in the mat. So if you look at it, it's a very streamlined bait. When we're flipping mats, efficiency is one of the best, most important things you need to be focused on. So it goes in and out of the mat really easily. That 1.5 ounce weight sits on there perfectly, so you don't have to worry about it coming down the side of the bait and ripping the plastic. Everything's really compact, and it just goes through the mat really well. But this is one of those baits where, like I talked about the Ned rig, you're giving high-pressured fish just something that they haven't seen. It's enough to get their attention, but not enough to scare them away. It's right perfect in between. Now, if you think of, all those popular craw style baits with the kick-in tails, like a speed craw or something, it's really the same profile as that. I mean, when a fish gets a look at it, when it's sitting on the bottom, if those legs right here aren't kicking, I mean, that's really the same profile as that. It's just the more subtle version of that. A ribbon tail worm and a Cinco. There's days where they want that ribbon tail worm, and there's days where they want a straight worm, and this is the straight craw version of that. So this has been a bait that I flipped for years because the mat punching craze was going on. Everybody was doing it. Everywhere you look, there was a boat sitting on a mat. You pull up to a good mat, there's already holes in it where people had pulled fish out of it. So I needed something that those fish just were not seeing, and that's the BB Cricket. So try that, guys. This is a great pre-spawn technique, but the water's still cold in most of the lakes, so you need something a little more finesse. Even if you don't have a grass lake, you have a highland reservoir or something like that, those hollers where all that stuff is going to drain into the lake typically have some type of mat. If it's pine needles or pollen, you can punch something through that. You might not go with 1.5 ounces, go down and wait a little bit. But there's a punching mat on most every lake. If you do have grass, hyacinth, chopped up grass, hydrilla, milfoil, all those things are going to create matted vegetation. And this time of year, it's just a great pre-spawn way to catch fish. So let me know how that works for you guys. Good luck to you, and I'll see you on the water.